Hello everyone, it's Angel from Gem TCG, and in today's video I'm going to be showing off the biggest and most expensive collection that I've ever bought as a reseller. And this collection that I'm showing in this video was worth around $33,000 to $34,000, and I'm going to be showing off how much I paid for it, kind of talking like a little bit of the backstory of the collection, and then how I plan to sell it. I'm also going to share some tips about like going through collections and best practices and all that, and just stuff to look out for. And before I even get into it, I want to just mention that I do plan to build out that marketplace for people to buy and sell strictly collections, and for buyers to quickly find collections to buy, sellers to easily sell them without having to post on social media. So if you're interested, join the waitlist. It's at gemtcg.com/waitlist, and I'll put the link in the bio as well, or the description. But as you can see here in this video, there it was bought from someone that's a pure collector. Like, they weren't a reseller, they weren't, interested in any of that stuff. They just collected cards over time. And these are my favorite types of people to buy from, because usually their collections are filled with good stuff and unique cards. Like, I'm sure you'll be able to tell from this collection, there's a lot of good stuff. And usually when you're buying collections from other resellers, they're selling you their stuff that does not sell. Like, all their basically junk. And it's not, I know that's not the right word, is to say junk, but to them it's junk. And they're just dumping off what they can't sell. And that's what you end up getting left with. But when you buy from someone that's a pure collector, they will have a lot of good cards. Like, I'm not sure if it showed up yet in this video, but there was a Moonbreon, and there are some other bangers at the way end that I didn't mean to just make it, wait till the end to see the good stuff. But the graded cards I went through at the end of this video, and there are some really cool cards that you'd want to see. But overall, it was a lot of binders, so I kind of skipped out going through like the bulk of the binders, and I just showed the end of them, because this person was trying to make a lot of master sets, and mainly from like Sword and Shield era, and I believe like Scarlet Base all the way up to maybe Obsidian Flames. They were trying to do the master sets for, and it was just, yeah, a lot of binder collections. There was one top loader binder that I think I showed earlier, and then two like large cases of graded cards that you will see at the end. And like, the reason why I was a big fan of this collection, aside from him being a collector and not a reseller, is that it was like, sure, the estimated value was 34,000 according to collector, but the majority of the value was within like 100 cards, and the overall collection was, I think it said like 5,400 cards, which I don't like when people do that. Like, they just input all their very bulk cards, like a common, uncommon from Pokemon Go. Like, they'll just put that into the collector list, and it fluffs out the value. Like, it heavily inflates the value. So, when you're buying collections from people and you notice that, you really need to be aware of that and offer them less. Like, I even told this buyer or seller, I said, typically I would offer 70% on a collection like this, but since there's so much cards in it, and since there's a lot of stuff that realistically won't sell for what you have it listed at in the collector portfolio, I can do 60%. And usually, like, when it comes to smaller collections, I'm okay with paying whatever, but I'm not as willing to work on things if it's like a $500 collection or something around that range. Like, I'll give my offer. If they're gonna accept it, that's fine. If not, I'll move on. But with a collection like this, where it's, it's so big, there's $35,000 worth of cards, or 34,000. I'm more willing to work with the seller at the time. So I let them know kind of my standpoint, I was very transparent with everything. They were also very nice, which really helped this collection go through, or this transaction. And I was like, I'm fine with giving you a higher percentage, but there's just too many cards in there that aren't worth a lot. So if you can remove them, I'll go higher. If not, I'll just have to stick with 60%. And luckily, they were also from Michigan. So, dealing with people in the same state, especially when you're buying large collections, is a huge win. You have a much more leverage and buying power when you're buying from someone locally rather than like when they have to ship it to you, because most people aren't comfortable shipping a collection like this. And truthfully, I don't blame them. I would hate to ship a collection like this guy's been building his collection for probably 20 years, and to ship it all to one person that you don't even know, and just basically give them all the power and let them control the whole situation, it's very scary. So when you're buying locally, you kind of remove that barrier, and people are willing to sell at a lower percentage just because it's secure, and they know that once that transaction is finalized, there's no going back, or at least like realistically, they can't scam you if they sent you the money and then you leave and like you go about your day. So that's a good thing about buying locally. You don't need to have them ship it to you. They're more comfortable, and it's an easier and better transaction in my opinion. And one thing I noticed, and this is what I want to give you guys advice for, when you're buying collections from people, and this typically happens locally, and the people usually don't ship their cards in binders, but if you notice that they have their cards in binders, ask them to take them out. Like, ask them to take the cards out of the binders for many reasons, honestly. One reason is just it's so time consuming to go through all the binders and pull out the cards. But actually, before I even get into that part, this was the top loader binder, and there's these like Victory Cup cards, Moonbreon, some Tops Chrome cards, I think, and I think you saw the Charizard earlier, and just a lot of bangers like this Staff Raichu pre-release, some Charizard, that card's going up a ton, Rainbow Rare Leafeon, and also I'm going to show the condition on this Blastoise, but everything he collected was near mint. He didn't have a single card in this collection that was light blade or below. And personally, I don't like selling light blade and below cards because I just don't like dealing with conditioning cards and then me saying it's light blade, but then someone looks at it and they're like, oh no, this is moderately played. And then even worse, I just hate dealing with damaged cards because I just feel dirty going through them because I know it's like it's almost like the same concept as handling money, like cash. It feels dirty handling damaged and heavily played cards. I don't know why, but it's just that's how I see it. I really just don't enjoy it. So when someone has a collection of all near mint cards, I am a big fan of that, and usually means they either took really good care of their cards or they just were, a good type of collector. And I know collecting light plate and below, it's understandable and it makes sense sometimes, but I just like buying and selling near mint only. And yeah, back to what I was saying with the binders. I really enjoy or I dislike when they ship their cards in binders or they sell the cards in binders because it took me probably like 1 to 2 hours just to take all the cards out of the binders. And I'm not even exaggerating because there was like I think 20 different binders, and the cards weren't the like perfect fit sleeves, so it made it like even harder to take them out because if you have experience with these binders, they don't come out really easily, especially if you're using the regular Ultra Pro sleeves. If they are the perfect fit ones, then it comes out really easy, but regular sleeves do not come out easily with these. And that's just a lot of time that personally I would rather spend, looking for more inventory, buying more cards, listing more cards. Like there's so many things you could do with that time. rather than just sitting there pulling out a bunch of cards from a binder. And I know if it's like it's a bunch of expensive cards in the binder, it's fair because they're only going to have 100 to maybe 500 cards. But in a collection like this, where it's a bunch of master sets and there's a bunch of regular commons and uncommons in that binder, your time is much better off doing other things than just pulling those cards out. So, what I recommend is just reach out to them if they like if you notice the cards are in the binders when they send pictures and stuff. Ask them to take them out if they don't mind because it'll just save you a bunch of time and you would be very like glad, honestly. And then these are a bunch of graded cards. Honestly, this case was like kind of junk slabs, I guess, because it's all like nines and below. Nothing really high end. So what I plan to do with these is just auction them off, do like one large auction, and just see what it goes for. I don't expect to get a lot of value. I honestly don't even think he inputted these into the collector list, but I'd have to double check. And I mean, just another side thing. I did an auction the other day for a bunch of PSA 8s and 9s shiny vaults, and they were, I had them on my store for like $20. They never sold. So I did an auction for like 42 of them, and it ended up selling for $500, which is very good considering they were not selling at all. So hopefully I can do the same thing with these cards. And another thing is there were some CGC 9.5s. This one was signed by Chum Lee, actually, he told me. I don't know if that'll actually add value or not, but we'll see. And a lot of the old CGC 9.5s, if you're not aware, have extra value, I think, because the old 9.5 is today's 10. So you could like regrade it and it'll be a 10. So if you have any of those cards, just be aware of that. And there was that Steelix PSA 9, and 8s and above on vintage cards are pretty good, especially hollows like this. You can get more value from, but anything below that, you're usually better off just selling it raw as a near mint card, or at least in my experience, that's how it was. And this one's a PSA 10 as well. That one might be worth a lot. I haven't checked the values on these yet, but I will check them probably today or something. And yeah, overall, I didn't really enjoy the slabs from this case. It's just going to be an auction. Dump it, try to get some money back, whatever. This one's worth a decent amount. I think like 50 to $100. 9.5 Alt Art, and then a 9 on that hollow. And then this one is pretty sick. I think it was the birthday Pikachu coming up. Yeah. So it's like a sealed birthday Japanese Pikachu. I think it says like second year anniversary or something on there. And I'm sure it being sealed is going to have a premium. I haven't checked the actual value of it yet, but I'm going to list that soon. And then I also have this Mewtwo box topper from Legendary Collections. And then also, I think the Dark Raichu. Yeah. And these are pretty sick. I've never actually seen them in person. So that was pretty cool. And then we got this Chansey base set Shadowless first edition, 8.5. And this is the best card of the collection. We got the Reshiram Alt Art Tag Team, PSA 10. So this card with the Chansey and then the Umbreon, and then there's another card coming up you guys will see applied or like accounted for the bulk of the value, which is huge because if I could just sell these cards really quickly, I could recoup a lot of the expenses of it and then make a profit back. And then also this PSA 10. I don't know what the name is because it's Japanese, but I know that's a pretty expensive card. Also, that PSA 10. This one's a PSA 10. So, like, this box right here is all the good stuff. And then also, that top loader binder was a bunch of the good near mint raw cards. And this will account for getting back all the profit pretty much, or like making up all the sales and getting all the value. Everything else is kind of just extra that I will be able to sell and make a good profit from, but this is where the big money is. And that's kind of just what you need to look for when buying collections. I know I said it earlier, but don't buy collections where it's like 1,000 cards and they're all worth $2. And then you spend, let's just say you spent like, what would that be? 70% of 2,000 would be like 14, no, yeah, $1,400. And then to make that profit back, you would have to spend or sell basically all the cards to make a profit. Whereas for something like this, when you buy a collection where the majority of the value is just in a small percentage of the collection, it makes it a lot easier to get your money back. And obviously, I'm not saying like don't buy low end collections, but if you want to deal with a lot of volume and get a lot of sales really quickly and make your money back quickly, you need to be buying collections where it's a lot of high end stuff and where you could make the profit back from a few sales rather than having to sell everything to kind of break even. And honestly, I mean, I wish most of the value wasn't in graded cards because I don't really sell, or like I don't enjoy selling graded cards to be honest. But I'm positive that like these types of cards will sell really easily, and I'm probably gonna sell the Umbreon and the Reshiram and that Charizard. Like, not sure if you guys saw it, but the Pocket Monsters Charizard. I'm probably gonna try to sell those at a card show or on Facebook. Try to get like 90 to 95% market, hopefully 100% market, but I can't expect that from from just selling to a vendor or something. But we'll see because I'd rather not sell those on eBay if I don't have to. And then I might crack some of the slabs because with my eBay store, I could sell stuff for double market and it'll still sell. So like something like this, that Mew PSA or CGC 9, I could probably sell that for more than what the 9 is worth as a raw card on my store. So I might try that, see how it goes. And I think that's, oh no, there's a few more. And then also there was bulk from this and he just threw it in for free. There was like a sealed, I think there was like a sealed Secret Wonders pack, a bunch of bulk reverse hollows. I mean, even this picture I took of what was in there, that whole stack of the like with the Gyarados was a bunch of Sword and Shield ultra rares. There's a bunch of EX or like Scarlet Violet ultra rares, and there's still a bunch more bulk that I haven't gone through because I just wanted to make this video really quick and show you guys what was in it. But yeah, that was basically it. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the collection. I'm fine with what I paid for it. I probably would have paid less if I knew that so much of the value was from those master sets with the commons and uncommons adding up value, but I'm still going to be able to make a profit and it'll be a relatively quick profit, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed seeing this video. It took a lot of time to record all these, but hopefully you guys liked seeing the cards and just hearing my perspective on this all. But yeah, hope you all have a great day. Join the waitlist if you're interested in that marketplace, and I'll see you all in the next video.